Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk. I am Shekhar Gupta at the Aga Khan Academy on the outskirts of Hyderabad, and I have a very special guest today. His Highness the Aga Khan.
Thank you, sir.
It's been said about you that no human being today bridges so many divides as gracefully and as powerfully as you do. And how many divides? East and the West, Islam and Christianity, material and the spiritual, and if I may add, from ancient to medieval to the modern and to the future. Such a special privilege to welcome you.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to talk with you. Thank you.
And welcome to a country which is in many ways your homeland.
Yes, yes, my grandfather's way back.
Right.
Yes.
He was born in undivided India.
Yes, yes. Yes, he was. And the place where he was born is still there.
Still there.
Yes, still in the family.
And the first school that
was built on the
setup was built in India.
In Mundra.
In Mundra, yes.
In Mundra.
And it's still there.
It's still there.
1905 or
1909 or something
yes.
like that.
Thereabouts, yes.
Yes. Yes.
And now there are 80 and there are 90,000 students and one more.
Yes, yes.
So what's this thing about the Aga Khans and education?
I think my grandfather has, and I have always felt that education was really an essential part of a community's life, of a country's life, of an individual's life. It is the unavoidable building block. And for all people all around the world. It doesn't matter the age, the society. So we've really wanted to build with that. And this academy is part of that exercise.
So before we get into the more profound discussion on making rational judgments in times when all wisdom is presumed to be given, tell us a little bit about the academy. How is this different from the rest?
Well, this academy was born out of an evaluation process. So about some 10 years ago we got together and started asking ourselves with my colleagues in education, where are we? What do we need? And we came to the conclusion that there were a number of countries where secondary education was a critical issue. So we decided that instead of trying to respond on a country-by-country basis, we would try to make a network of institutions to move intelligent children from one society to another, from one language to another, so that we would try and build global capacity and bring it in at the secondary level of education, not retard it until tertiary education or career.
And an academy like this is not limited. It's not, access is not confined to your followers or only people of one faith.
No, not at all.
Purely on merit.
Purely on merit, and indeed it goes further than that because it's means blind. So the moment a child is qualified, it's our responsibility to find the ability to fund that.
Right.
So it's a means blind process.
Funnily, I haven't heard that expression before, means blind.
Means blind.
Yeah.
That is, you're blind to the means.
I know. It's a wonderful expression.
Yes, that's the expression that is used.
Yeah, it's fascinating that I hear that expression from somebody who doesn't like the word philanthropy. So explain to us why the objection to philanthropy.
Well, I think philanthropy is very close to the notion of charity.
Right.
And
giving away.
Giving away. And in Islam it's very clear. Charity is desirable and necessary. But the best form of charity is to enable an individual to manage his own destiny, to improve his condition of life or her condition of life, so that they become autonomous. They make their own decisions.
And there I remember something that you said in an interview. You said becoming an imam doesn't mean you distance yourself, you renounce the world.
Right.
It actually means engaging with your community even more.
Right.
And to improving their quality of life and to give them protection. It doesn't mean going away. There is no sannyas, if I may use something from Hindu way of life.
No, and it's it's not in the Hindu way of life. It's also in many other faiths. There are Christian schools where engaging in life is not desirable. In Islam, that doesn't exist. It's the contrary, actually.
Right.
Imams are responsible for the security of their community, for the quality of life of their community. They must engage, but they have to engage ethically.
There's another thing you said, a fascinating statement. You said there is no clash of civilizations.
Right.
There's a clash of ignorances.
Right, right.
But the clash of ignorances, or what someone else had called scars on our mind, in a different
Yes,
context, World
yes,
War,
yes.
is now a reality.
Yes.
How do you deal with it?
Well, I've asked myself that question so many times, and actually since 1957. And
That's since you became
since I became imam.
At a very young age.
And yes, and I have used all the methods I thought I had to try and help bridge civilizations rather than have them continue to look at each other in ignorance and discover each other in conflict and all the rest.
Right.
So it's been an important part of my life, but I'm one individual.
And if I can be, if I can take a little chance and be sort of indiscreet, in a way, the Islamic world knocked at the doors of the Western world in the form of those planes slamming into the buildings. And
Yes.
I'm oversimplifying.
Well, I think it would be difficult to associate what we call the Ummah, the totality of the Muslim world, with that.
Right.
I don't think that would be right.
But that stereotype did get built.
That stereotype did get built, without doubt, without doubt. But I don't think you can attribute that to the totality of the Ummah. That's
Right.
simply not correct.
Right.
So the stereotype itself is massively incorrect.
Right.
Which then raises another question. What is the nation, what is the form of communication we're living in?
Right.
How can miscommunication be as acute as it's been?
So, has your life changed and your role since 2001, since this happened?
Yes, of course. Of course. We are trying to understand the polarizations that are occurring in our world, in the industrialized world. We are seeing that the industrialized world is no longer the industrialized world as it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. We're seeing major powers come up on the radar screen. We're seeing intermediate powers playing a new role, including India. So there's a whole process of global change now.
So what do you tell your friends in the Western world about their new stereotypes of Islam, and what do you tell your Muslim brothers and sisters and followers
Right.
about their stereotypes of the Western world?
Well, I would start by asking a very simple question. In 2013, what is the definition of an educated person? What is the knowledge that that person should have, and how is that person going to use it? And the knowledge that that person requires, in my view, is more and more understanding the world, not understanding little parts of it. And I think that understanding the world is a massively complex goal, but I think that we've got to admit that that's what's necessary. It's unavoidable.
Because
We are more of one world than ever before.
your community has also suffered, because it's now come to be represented by people of a certain kind, people who hawk the headlines, sort of prime time TV, and whose silhouette usually has an AK-47 or worse. I mean, how do you deal with that? I mean, and what have they, and how much damage have they done to your community?
I don't think the community is seen as a community that is in any way engaged in this sort of concept.
Because a
I
Muslim
think.
passport at a Western airport. I mean, I'm again using a stereotype, but it's the reality.
Right, right. Well, I'm not sure that is really true of all Muslims. I think there are certain areas of the Muslim world which are more, let's say, questioned than others. But I don't think that's universal. Really not. And, you know, that's happened in other faiths, let's be quite clear.
Look at the Middle East. Egypt, with which Ismailis have such an old relationship.
Right, right.
Where does Egypt stand now?
Well, I think what we're...
And then next door, Syria.
This is, well, first of all, Egypt. I tend to think, and this is a personal view, that what we're beginning to see in the Ummah in these unstable situations is the manifestation of civil society. I think we're seeing civil society expressing itself. It's expressing itself in different ways, in different countries, but essentially it is the forces of civil society. They are saying, we want an environment in which we can live freely.